And what's alcohol poisoning?
Alcohol poisoning is what happens when you take too much alcohol too quickly, and what happens is that, as I said, you don't feel the effect of it. Your blood level of alcohol shoots way up to the point of beyond the level of intoxication, to the point of coma, and you can have problems like your breathing can stop, and you can lead to death.
I bet you never thought a night of drinking could land you in the emergency room. Check this out.
My name is Allison Savino. I'm 17 years old, and at the age of 14, I almost died of alcohol poisoning. It was my freshman year in high school, and I was invited to the prom by a senior. I went to the prom, and after the prom, I went to an after-prom party, which was an only neighbor's house away. At the party, I began drinking. I had 1 beer and 2 beers, and then a few wine coolers, and a few wine coolers led to an entire bottle of vodka. I downed the bottle of vodka and suddenly went into a coma. My friends decided that the only thing that they knew that they could do was to drag me upstairs and try to give me a cold shower to see if I would come to. Instead of coming to, it made me worse. So the only thing they could do was throw me in the back of a pickup truck. They threw me in the back of the pickup truck and they left me there. No one did anything. No one called my parents. I began to go into convulsions from the amount of alcohol that I consumed. They called the rescue squad, and the rescue squad came and got me. I almost died in the rescue squad on the way to the hospital, which was within a half an hour away from my house. That was the first time I really drank. I didn't know about alcohol poisoning or binge drinking. The only thing I knew is if you drank too much, you'd pass out and you'd sleep it off.
Allison was lucky that night because someone stepped in time. But for some people, it's not a question of time. If you have too much alcohol in your system, nothing's gonna help you.
This is Catherine Lutz. She was brought home by a friend who told her parents she had a little to drink. Not knowing she had downed a number of drinks and then a fifth of vodka, her parents put her to bed and found her dead the next morning. It was her 16th birthday. This is Matthew Hitchcock. His friend left him in the backseat of a car to sleep it off after a night of bar hopping. The last bar told his friend to get him to the hospital. His friend never did. Matthew never woke up. He was 21.
When anyone has an overdose of alcohol, the first thing that happens is the brain is affected, and that progresses through a series of steps. First, you become confused, disoriented, difficulty moving around. That could be moving the hands, walking, any part of the body, losing your balance even when sitting down, weaving, and then increasing confusion, disorientation, slipping into a stupor, sort of falling asleep, but actually more of a blackout, passing out. That progresses to a coma where you can't be aroused even by somebody sticking a pin in you, progressing to death because that part of the brain that controls the breathing shuts off. This can happen in less than an hour. If you see somebody who you feel has really had a lot to drink in a short time, you got to distinguish it from somebody who's just had a lot to drink and is intoxicated. What you've got to do is watch for that person passing out. The best thing to do is try to wake that person up. Shake that person, slap them around if you have to. If they start to vomit, for example, make sure it doesn't block their breathing, make sure they're bending over, make sure they're not on their back. If hitting them a couple of times won't do it, it usually will if people are just beginning to be passed out from alcohol. If it doesn't do it, then they may be on their way to coma. In that case, it's an emergency, and you really have to bring them to a hospital. The worst thing you could do is leave them passed out on a bed or a floor or a couch alone.
I think my friends were scared and didn't know what to do when I passed out. Me, myself, I feel kind of lucky that I got a second chance because a lot of people that drink to the extent that I did or drink and drive, that's it, they lose it.
Binge drinking can leave you with permanent brain damage, or it could kill you. It's not worth it.
For more information about this show and other shows, you can visit InTheMix.org. You'll find stories written by teens, more RIP pictures, video clips, resources, and more. There's also a transcript, discussion guide, and how to get a copy of the program.